Each day offers a new chance to practice these principles, to strengthen your inner compass and align your actions with your values. And as you do, you'll find that the world around you begins to feel less chaotic, less overwhelming. You'll discover a sense of calm and confidence that no external force can take away, a quiet strength that carries you through life's ups and downs with grace and intention. Imagine for a moment standing on the shore of a vast ocean. The waves roll in, steady and unrelenting, sometimes gentle, sometimes powerful. You can't stop the waves or control the tide, but you can choose how you stand in their presence. This imagery captures one of the most profound lessons of Stoicism, the power of perspective. The waves of life, its challenges, triumphs and uncertainties, are inevitable, but how you face them is entirely within your control. The Stoics believed that perspective shapes our reality. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, often reminded himself that events themselves hold no inherent power over us. It's the meaning we assign to them that determines their impact. You have power over your mind, he wrote, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This understanding is transformative, offering a path to peace even in the midst of chaos. Think about a situation that recently caused you stress or frustration. Perhaps it was a disagreement at work, an unexpected expense, or a missed opportunity. In the moment, these experiences can feel overwhelming, as if they define the entire day or week. But what happens when you step back, when you take a moment to reframe the situation? Instead of fixating on what went wrong, you might ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? This shift in perspective doesn't minimize the difficulty of the experience, but it does change its impact. Suddenly, the setback becomes a stepping stone, a chance to develop patience, resilience, or creativity. The challenge no longer feels like an insurmountable wall, but a path you can navigate. This is the power of reframing, a practice the Stoics embraced, and one that we can integrate into our own lives. Marcus Aurelius himself faced immense challenges, wars, political unrest, personal loss. Yet his writings reveal a man committed to finding clarity and purpose amidst the turmoil. He understood that while he couldn't dictate the actions of others or the circumstances around him, he could choose his response. This principle, central to Stoic philosophy, is one of the greatest tools we have for navigating life's complexities. But how do we cultivate this perspective in our own lives? It starts with mindfulness, the practice of being fully present and aware of our thoughts and emotions. When something triggers a strong reaction, take a moment to pause. Instead of immediately reacting, observe what you're feeling and ask yourself why. Is it fear, anger, disappointment? Identifying the root of your emotion gives you the space to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Another way to shift your perspective is through gratitude. The Stoics were deeply aware of the fleeting nature of life and the importance of appreciating what we have while we have it. Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It means recognizing the good that exists alongside the difficulties. Consider how this might look in practice. Imagine a day when everything seems to go wrong. Your plans fall apart. You receive disappointing news, and nothing feels like it's going your way. It's easy to spiral into frustration or self-pity, but what if, instead, you pause to acknowledge the things that remain steady? Perhaps it's the support of a loved one, the warmth of the sun on your face, or the simple fact that you have another day to try again. These moments of gratitude, however small, anchor you in the present and remind you of life's richness. Perspective also involves zooming out and seeing the bigger picture. The Stoics often practiced what they called the view from above, a mental exercise where they imagined looking at their lives from a higher vantage point. Picture yourself stepping outside your current situation and observing it as if you were a bird soaring above. From this perspective, your worries and stresses begin to shrink. You see that life is vast and interconnected, that your current challenges are just one small part of a much larger journey. This practice helps us keep our problems in perspective, preventing them from consuming us. It's a reminder that while our struggles feel immense in the moment, they are often fleeting. The Stoics weren't dismissing the importance of our experiences, but encouraging us to see them with clarity and balance. When we adopt this broader perspective, we also become more empathetic. We realize that everyone around us is navigating their own challenges, their own waves. This understanding fosters compassion, helping us connect with others on a deeper level. Instead of reacting with anger or judgment, we approach situations with kindness and patience, recognizing the shared humanity in our struggles. And then there's the question of control, a central theme in Stoicism. By focusing on what is within our control and releasing what is not, we liberate ourselves from unnecessary suffering. Epictetus often spoke of this dichotomy, urging us to direct our energy toward our actions, thoughts, and attitudes rather than external events. Imagine the peace that comes from releasing the need to control the uncontrollable. It's not about giving up. It's about choosing where to focus your efforts. Picture a ship navigating rough seas. The captain cannot control the weather, but they can adjust the sails, steer the ship, and ensure the crew is prepared. Life is much the same. We can't dictate what storms come our way, but we can decide how to respond. This mindset doesn't just help us endure challenges, it empowers us to grow through them. Ultimately, perspective is a skill, one that requires practice and patience. There will be moments when it feels difficult, when emotions cloud your judgment or the weight of the world seems too heavy. In those moments, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind. You have the ability to choose your thoughts, to reframe your experiences, and to find meaning in the midst of life's uncertainties. As you cultivate this practice, you'll discover a profound sense of freedom. A freedom that comes not from changing the world around you, but from changing the way you see it. This shift in perspective doesn't just transform your challenges, it transforms your life, opening the door to greater peace, resilience, and connection. The waves will keep coming, but you will stand steady, anchored by the strength of your own mind and the clarity of your perspective. Imagine a craftsman working diligently, shaping a piece of wood into something beautiful. Each stroke of the chisel is deliberate, each movement purposeful. The craftsman doesn't rush or worry about how long it will take. Instead, they are fully immersed in the process. This is the kind of mindful focus the Stoics teach us to bring into our daily lives, an ability to be present and engaged, not overwhelmed by the past or the future, but grounded in the now. The present moment, often taken for granted, is the only time we truly possess. The past is a memory, unchangeable and fixed. The future, an uncertainty, unpredictable and out of reach. Yet so often we allow our thoughts to be consumed by regret or worry, robbing us of the peace and potential of the present. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminded himself repeatedly to return to the now. "Confine yourself to the present," he wrote. These words hold a quiet yet profound power. Think of a time when you felt truly present. Perhaps it was watching a sunset, the colors unfolding in real time, or listening intently to a loved one share a story. In these moments there's a sense of clarity, a feeling of being fully alive. Now, contrast that with the feeling of being lost in your thoughts, worrying about what might happen tomorrow, or dwelling on something that didn't go as planned. The difference is stark, isn't it? The former is filled with peace, while the latter is often heavy with tension. The Stoics understood that the mind is a powerful tool, but one that must be trained. Left unchecked, it can wander into the territory of what-ifs and should-haves, creating unnecessary suffering. But with practice, we can guide it back to the present, to the only time that truly matters. This doesn't mean ignoring the past or neglecting the future. It means approaching them with intention. Learn from the past, plan for the future, but live in the present. One of the simplest ways to cultivate this presence is through mindful awareness. Start by paying attention to your breath. It's always with you, a steady rhythm anchoring you to the here and now. Take a moment to close your eyes and notice the sensation of the air entering and leaving your lungs. Feel the rise and fall of your chest, the coolness of the inhale, the warmth of the exhale. In this act of awareness, you're practicing a fundamental Stoic principle, returning to the body, to the present. Mindfulness doesn't have to be confined to meditation. You can bring it into your daily activities, washing dishes, walking to work, or even sipping a cup of coffee. Notice the texture of the soap suds, the sound of your footsteps, the aroma of the brew. By focusing on the details of the task at hand, you create a sense of connection to the moment, grounding yourself in the here and now. The beauty of this practice is that it transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Suddenly, the mundane tasks of life become opportunities for presence and peace. This is what Marcus Aurelius meant when he said, "Do every act of your life as though it were the last." It's not about rushing or fearing the end. It's about treating each moment with the attention and care it deserves. But being present isn't always easy. Life is full of distractions, notifications pinging on your phone, to-do lists demanding your attention, and the constant pull of the digital world. The Stoics would encourage us to set boundaries, to reclaim our time and attention. Epictetus advised, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This isn't a call to isolate yourself, but a reminder that prioritizing your inner peace may look different from what others expect. Consider limiting the noise in your life. This might mean setting aside time each day to unplug from technology, creating a space where you can think, reflect, and simply be. It might mean saying no to commitments that don't align with your values, freeing yourself to focus on what truly matters. These small acts of intentionality help you create a life that supports presence rather than distraction. Presence also involves embracing the moment as it is, without judgment. The Stoics taught that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. A rainy day, for example, isn't inherently bad or good. It simply is. You might view it as an inconvenience, or you might see it as an opportunity to slow down, to read a book by the window, or to walk under the rain and feel its cool touch. The choice is yours. This perspective frees us from the trap of labeling every experience as positive or negative. Instead, we approach life with curiosity and acceptance, finding value in whatever unfolds. This doesn't mean we deny our feelings or pretend everything is fine when it's not. It means we allow ourselves to fully experience each moment without resistance. We face joy and sorrow, success and failure, with the same calm presence, knowing that both are fleeting. Presence is also a gift we give to others. When you truly listen to someone, without interrupting or planning your response, you create a space for connection. You show them they are seen and valued. This kind of attention is rare in a world that often prioritizes speed and efficiency over depth. The Stoics understood the importance of relationships, of being fully present with the people who matter to us. It's a simple yet profound act, one that enriches both their lives and ours. And finally, presence helps us navigate life's challenges. When we stay rooted in the present, we're less likely to be overwhelmed by the magnitude of a problem. Instead of worrying about everything that needs to be done, we focus on the next step, the immediate action we can take. This approach, one moment at a time, makes even the most daunting tasks manageable. As you move through your day, try to bring this sense of presence with you. Pause often, breathe deeply, and remind yourself to return to the moment. Whether you're working, resting, or connecting with others, let your attention be fully there. This is the essence of living intentionally, not rushing through life, but savoring it one moment at a time. The present is where life happens, where peace resides, and where you find the strength to face whatever comes next. Picture yourself standing in a forest. The sunlight filters through the trees, creating patches of light and shadow on the ground. The air is fresh, and there's a quiet stillness all around. In that moment you feel a deep connection to nature, to the world, to yourself. This is the kind of harmony the Stoics sought to cultivate in their lives, a state of alignment with both the external world and their internal values. It's a harmony that brings clarity, purpose, and peace, even amidst life's inevitable storms. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the concept of living in accordance with nature. To the Stoics, this didn't just mean being attuned to the natural world, though that was certainly part of it. It also meant understanding and embracing the nature of reality, the nature of others, and the nature of oneself. By doing so, they believed we could live more authentically and meaningfully, free from unnecessary conflict or resistance. Consider the nature of reality. Life, by its very essence, is unpredictable. Plans fall apart, people change, circumstances shift. The Stoics didn't shy away from this truth. They leaned into it. They saw life's uncertainty not as a source of despair, but as an opportunity to grow, adapt, and learn. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself often that change is a natural and inevitable part of existence. "Observe constantly," he wrote, "that all things take place by change." This patience extends to how we view our challenges. Just as a tree grows stronger in response to the elements, we grow stronger through the difficulties we face. The Stoics believed that adversity was not something to be avoided, but something to be embraced. "Fire feeds on obstacles," Marcus Aurelius wrote. "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Each challenge, they believed, is an opportunity to cultivate virtue, to practice resilience, courage, and wisdom. When faced with difficulty, imagine yourself as that tree, standing firm in the storm. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow?" This shift in perspective transforms hardship into a tool for growth, turning what might have been a setback into a step forward. And as you move through life, remember the importance of gratitude. The Stoics believed in appreciating the present moment and all it offers. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to take pleasure in what you can do now. This is not about denying pain or ignoring challenges. It's about recognizing the beauty and abundance that coexist with them. Gratitude grounds us, connects us to the present, and reminds us of the richness of life. In the end, living in accordance with nature is about harmony. Harmony with the world around us, with the people we share it with, and with our own inner selves. It's about embracing life's changes, treating others with compassion, and staying true to our values. It's about finding peace in the process of becoming, trusting that each step, each challenge, each moment is part of something greater. As you walk through your own forest, your own journey, remember to pause and take it all in. Feel the sunlight on your face, listen to the rustle of the leaves, and know that you are part of a vast and interconnected world. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a testament to your strength and resilience, a reflection of your ability to live with purpose and grace. And in that, there is a quiet, enduring beauty that no storm can take away. Picture yourself as a river, flowing steadily toward an unseen destination. Along the way, you encounter rocks, fallen trees, and narrow bends that slow your progress. But you do not stop. You adapt, finding new paths, reshaping the terrain around you, and continuing forward. This is the essence of resilience, a quality the Stoics revered and cultivated with great care. They understood that life is unpredictable and often difficult, but they also believed in our ability to endure and thrive, no matter the obstacles. Resilience isn't about ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It's about acknowledging the challenges you face and choosing to meet them with strength and grace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes, the obstacle to our acting. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." These words capture the Stoic belief that every difficulty contains the seed of growth, and that adversity is not an enemy, but a teacher. Consider a time in your life when you faced a significant challenge. Perhaps it was a loss, a failure, or an unexpected change. At the moment, it may have felt overwhelming, as if the weight of the world was pressing down on you. But look closer. Didn't that experience also teach you something about yourself? Maybe it revealed a strength you didn't know you had, or maybe it showed you a new path, one you wouldn't have considered otherwise. This is resilience in action, the ability to transform hardship into growth. The Stoics teach us that resilience begins with perspective. When faced with a difficult situation, they encourage us to step back and ask, "Is this within my control?" If the answer is no, then worrying about it only adds unnecessary suffering. Instead, focus on what you can control: your thoughts, your actions, and your attitude. Epictetus reminded his students, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This shift in focus frees you from the grip of helplessness and empowers you to take meaningful action. Imagine losing your job, an event that can feel both destabilizing and demoralizing. The initial reaction might be fear or frustration, understandable emotions in such a situation. But instead of getting lost in those feelings, a Stoic approach would involve asking, "What can I do now? How can I use this as an opportunity to grow?" Perhaps this is a chance to explore a new career path, develop a skill you've always wanted to master, or reassess your priorities. By focusing on the possibilities rather than the loss, you reclaim your agency. Resilience also requires self-discipline, a willingness to endure discomfort in pursuit of a greater goal. Resilience also requires self-discipline, a willingness to endure discomfort in pursuit of a greater goal. The Stoics practiced voluntary hardship to build this discipline, deliberately exposing themselves to challenges to strengthen their character. Seneca, for example, would periodically live as if he were poor, eating simple meals and wearing rough clothing. This exercise wasn't about self-punishment, but about reminding himself that he could endure difficult conditions and that his happiness wasn't dependent on material comforts. You don't have to go to such extremes to cultivate resilience, but you can practice stepping outside your comfort zone. Maybe it's taking on a challenging project at work, initiating a difficult conversation, or committing to a new habit. Each time you push through discomfort, you build your capacity to handle adversity. You prove to yourself that you are capable, that you can face life's storms and come out stronger. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of preparation. They practiced a mental exercise called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involved imagining worst-case scenarios and considering how they would respond. Far from being a pessimistic exercise, this practice helped them build resilience by reducing the fear of the unknown. When you've already envisioned and prepared for potential difficulties, they feel less daunting if they do arise. Imagine planning a trip and considering all the things that could go wrong: missed flights, bad weather, lost luggage. Instead of worrying, you take practical steps to prepare. Packing an extra change of clothes in your carry-on, arriving early at the airport, or having a backup plan for bad weather. By thinking ahead, you feel more equipped to handle whatever comes your way. This mindset doesn't eliminate challenges, but it does reduce their ability to overwhelm you. Resilience is also rooted in community. The Stoics believed that we are stronger together than we are alone. When you face difficulty, reaching out to others for support is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. Sharing your struggles, seeking advice, or simply leaning on someone for comfort reminds you that you are not alone, and in turn, offering support to others during their tough times deepens your own sense of purpose and connection. Finally, resilience involves acceptance, not resignation, but a clear-eyed acknowledgement of reality. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny for what could more aptly fit your needs." This doesn't mean passively accepting injustice or giving up on your goals. It means recognizing what is and choosing to move forward with courage and determination. Acceptance allows you to focus your energy where it can make a difference, rather than wasting it on things beyond your control. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a mountain trail. The path is steep, the terrain rocky, and the destination hidden from view. You could turn back, overwhelmed by the difficulty ahead, or you could take the first step, trusting in your ability to navigate each challenge as it comes. The Stoics would urge you to take that step, to face the journey with resolve, knowing that each obstacle you overcome strengthens your character and brings you closer to your goal. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, one choice at a time. It's the decision to keep going when the road gets tough, to find meaning in adversity, and to trust in your ability to adapt and grow. The Stoics believed in this capacity for resilience, not just as a way to endure life's challenges, but as a path to true strength and fulfillment. So when the rocks and bends of life appear, remember the river. Flow around them, through them, or over them, but keep moving forward. With each obstacle you grow stronger, more adaptable, and more connected to the unyielding strength within you. This is the heart of Stoic resilience, a quiet, steady determination to face whatever comes with grace and courage. Imagine yourself as a sculptor standing before a block of marble. It's unshaped, raw, and filled with infinite potential. Each strike of your chisel removes what is unnecessary, revealing the form within. This process is deliberate and patient, requiring vision and perseverance. The Stoics believed our lives are like that block of marble, and we are the sculptors. Through our choices, actions, and discipline, we shape who we become, removing the excess to uncover the essence of our character. The idea of self-discipline was central to Stoic philosophy. For them, discipline wasn't about rigid rules or self-denial. It was about freedom, the freedom to live in alignment with one's values and purpose. Seneca once said, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." This reflects the Stoic belief that mastery over oneself is the key to navigating life's challenges with clarity and strength. C. Imagine you've set a goal to wake up early and start your day with intention. The alarm rings, but your bed feels warm and inviting. In that moment, your desire for comfort conflicts with your desire for growth. What do you choose? For the Stoics, this is where discipline comes in, not as a harsh force, but as a gentle yet firm reminder of what you value most. It's the voice that says, I know this is hard, but it's worth it. Take the step. Discipline isn't something we're born with. It's something we build through practice. Epictetus often spoke of training the mind and body as we would train an athlete. He urged his students to start with small, manageable steps, gradually building their capacity for self-control. For example, if your goal is to eat more healthfully, you might begin by making one small change, adding more vegetables to your meals, or drinking more water. Over time, these small habits build into a disciplined lifestyle, but discipline isn't just about personal habits, it's also about how we interact with others. The Stoics emphasize the importance of practicing patience and understanding in our relationships. When someone irritates or angers us, our initial impulse might be to react harshly, but discipline teaches us to pause, to consider our response, and to choose actions that align with our values. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By exercising discipline in our reactions, we maintain our inner peace and foster healthier connections. The Stoics also encouraged us to reflect regularly on our progress. At the end of each day, they would review their actions, asking themselves what they did well, what they could improve, and how they could align more closely with their principles. This practice of reflection is like stepping back from the sculpture to assess its form, ensuring each strike of the chisel moves closer to the desired shape. Reflection isn't about judgment or self-criticism, it's about growth and understanding. Imagine taking a few moments each evening to ask yourself questions like, did I act with kindness today? Did I make choices that align with my goals? Where did I fall short, and how can I improve tomorrow? This simple practice cultivates self-awareness and keeps you focused on what truly matters. It's a way of staying accountable to yourself and your aspirations. But self-discipline isn't about perfection. The Stoics understood that we are human, prone to mistakes and moments of weakness. When we falter, they encouraged us to learn from the experience and begin again. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Each failure is an opportunity to reset, to recommit to our goals with renewed determination. Consider a time when you set out to build a habit or achieve a goal, but didn't succeed. Maybe you wanted to exercise regularly, spend less time on your phone, or improve a relationship. When things didn't go as planned, how did you respond? Did you give up, or did you adjust and try again?" The Stoics would remind us that setbacks are a natural part of growth. What matters is not that we stumble, but that we rise and keep moving forward. Discipline also involves learning to say no to distractions, temptations, and commitments that don't align with your priorities. In a world full of endless options and demands on our time, this can be challenging. But every no to something unimportant is a yes to what truly matters. It's a way of protecting your energy and focus, ensuring that your efforts are directed toward what brings meaning and fulfillment. Imagine being invited to an event that doesn't align with your values or goals. The pressure to say yes might be strong, but discipline allows you to pause and consider, does this contribute to the life I want to create, or is it a distraction? By saying no when needed, you create space for the things that truly matter, whether it's pursuing a passion, spending time with loved ones, or simply resting and recharging. Finally, discipline involves a deep respect for time. The Stoics viewed time as our most precious resource, something we can never get back once it's spent. Seneca's writings often urge us to use our time wisely, reminding us that life is fleeting. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it, he observed. By practicing discipline in how we use our time, we honor its value and ensure that our days are filled with purpose. As you sculpt your life, remember that each choice, each moment of discipline, shapes the person you are becoming. Like the sculptor with their marble, your work requires patience, vision, and perseverance. There will be times when the chisel slips, when the process feels slow or difficult, but with each stroke you move closer to uncovering the beauty and strength within you. This is the art of Stoic discipline, a path to freedom, resilience. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast horizon, watching the sun dip below the earth. The colors are breathtaking, vivid oranges, deep purples, and soft pinks. Yet, as you admire the beauty, you know that this moment is fleeting, that the sun will set and night will follow. There's something both humbling and awe-inspiring about this awareness of impermanence. The Stoics believed that embracing this transient nature of life was not just a philosophical exercise, but a way to live more fully and meaningfully. The Stoic principle of memento mori, remember that you will die, is often misunderstood as morbid or depressing. But to the Stoics, it was a profound reminder to cherish each moment, to focus on what truly matters, and to live with intention. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Far from being a call to despair, these words are an invitation to clarity and purpose. Think about how often we take time for granted. We delay important conversations, put off pursuing our dreams, and assume there will always be more time. But what if we lived each day with the awareness that it could be our last? Not in fear, but in gratitude. This perspective has the power to transform how we approach our lives, shifting our focus from trivial distractions to what truly brings meaning and joy. Imagine waking up tomorrow with this mindset. Instead of rushing through your morning, you savor the warmth of the sun on your face, the taste of your coffee, the sound of birds outside your window. You take a moment to appreciate the people in your life, to tell them what they mean to you. You approach your work with purpose, knowing that each task is an opportunity to create, to contribute, to grow. This is the essence of memento mori, not fearing the end, but finding beauty and value in the present. The Stoics also understood that reflecting on our mortality can help us let go of the trivial concerns that often consume us. Epictetus advised, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Instead of worrying about how others perceive you or striving for superficial achievements, focus on living a life of integrity and virtue. When you're aware of the finite nature of time, it becomes easier to prioritize what aligns with your values and to release what does not. Consider how this perspective might apply to your relationships. How often do we hold on to grudges, avoid difficult conversations, or let pride get in the way of connection? The Stoics would remind us that life is too short for such barriers. "Forgive others," Seneca wrote, "and remember that you also make mistakes." By embracing humility and compassion, we open the door to deeper, more meaningful relationships, connections that enrich our lives and the lives of those around us. The Stoic approach to impermanence also extends to how we view success and failure. Life's highs and lows are like the waves of the ocean, constant and ever-changing. Marcus Aurelius encouraged us to accept both with equanimity, writing, "Receive wealth or prosperity without arrogance, and be ready to let it go." This perspective frees us from becoming overly attached to outcomes, allowing us to focus instead on the process, the effort, and the lessons learned along the way. Imagine setting a goal, whether it's completing a project, running a race, or learning a new skill. The journey will likely involve setbacks, moments of doubt, and unforeseen challenges. But by embracing impermanence, you can approach each step with a sense of curiosity and openness. Instead of fixating on the end result, You find joy in the progress you're making, in the small victories along the way. This mindset not only reduces anxiety, but also makes the journey itself more rewarding. The Stoics also practiced what they called voluntary discomfort, to remind themselves of life's impermanence and build resilience. Seneca would sleep on a hard floor or wear rough clothing to remind himself that comfort and luxury are not guaranteed, and that he could thrive without them. This practice isn't about self-punishment. It's about gratitude and preparation. When you willingly step out of your comfort zone, you not only appreciate what you have more deeply, but also develop the strength to face life's uncertainties with confidence. You might try this in small ways, perhaps by spending a day without your phone, walking instead of driving, or eating a simple meal instead of a lavish one. These experiences remind you that your happiness and well-being are not dependent on external comforts. They bring you back to the basics, to what truly sustains you, your inner strength, your values, and your connection to others. And when it comes to facing loss, whether it's the loss of a loved one, a job, or a phase of life, the Stoics offer us tools to grieve with grace and to find meaning in the midst of sorrow. As you walk through life, carry these Stoic principles with you. Let your flame burn steadily, illuminating the path ahead. Embrace impermanence, cherish the present, and see obstacles as opportunities. Cultivate gratitude and kindness, knowing that your actions have the power to create ripples of change. In doing so, you'll not only navigate life's challenges with grace, but also uncover its profound beauty and meaning. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean, the waves rolling in and out with an eternal rhythm. Each wave is unique, yet part of a larger, interconnected system. Life, like the ocean, moves in cycles. It ebbs and flows, bringing joys, challenges, and moments of calm. The Stoics understood this rhythm, teaching us to align ourselves with its natural flow rather than resisting it. In the face of adversity, they believed in a principle that is as profound as it is practical: acceptance. To accept does not mean to surrender, but to acknowledge reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom reminds us that our reactions, not the circumstances, shape our experience of life. Imagine a scenario where you lose something dear, a job, a relationship, or a cherished plan. The initial wave of loss may bring feelings of grief, anger, or frustration. But instead of being swept away, the Stoics invite you to ground yourself, to see this loss as a natural part of life's rhythm. You cannot control the wave, but you can learn to ride it with grace, finding a sense of peace, even amidst the turmoil. Now consider how this philosophy applies to success. Just as we should accept loss, the Stoics encourage us to remain grounded in moments of triumph. Epictetus cautioned against being overly attached to praise or external validation. He believed that true fulfillment comes from living in accordance with our values, not from the fleeting applause of others. Picture yourself receiving a standing ovation for a project you've worked tirelessly on. The applause is sweet, yes, but the Stoic in you recognizes that your worth isn't tied to the crowd's reaction. The real reward lies in the integrity and effort you poured into your work. The Stoic approach to life is deeply intertwined with the idea of preparation. Life is unpredictable, filled with surprises both pleasant and challenging. To prepare for this uncertainty, the Stoics practiced a technique called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This wasn't about pessimism, but about mentally rehearsing potential difficulties to reduce their impact. Imagine preparing for a big presentation. You visualize potential challenges, a tough question, a technical glitch, or a moment of nervousness. By doing this, you desensitize yourself to the fear of these events, equipping yourself to respond calmly if they arise. When the actual presentation comes, you're not blindsided by the unexpected. You're ready to adapt and keep moving forward. Another cornerstone of Stoicism is the recognition of shared humanity. The Stoics viewed people as interconnected, part of a larger whole. This understanding fosters empathy, urging us to treat others with patience and kindness. Seneca wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." Even when faced with difficult individuals, this perspective encourages us to look beyond their actions and see their shared humanity. Think about a heated argument with a colleague. They might be rude or dismissive, but instead of reacting with anger, you choose to pause. You remind yourself that their behavior might stem from stress, fear, or their own struggles. This doesn't excuse their actions, but it allows you to respond with clarity rather than being dragged into conflict. You become a calming force, diffusing tension and setting an example of emotional maturity. The Stoics also teach us to find meaning in every experience, even the painful ones. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Challenges, they believed, are opportunities to grow, to develop resilience and wisdom. It's not about seeking pain, but about embracing the lessons it brings. Picture a storm battering a tree. The winds are fierce, bending the branches and shaking the trunk. Yet, when the storm passes, the tree stands stronger, its roots deeper. In the same way, every difficulty we face adds to our strength and understanding. When you reflect on past challenges, you might realize how much they've shaped you, teaching you patience, compassion, or perseverance. Gratitude plays a transformative role in this journey. It shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's present, filling your heart with a sense of abundance. The Stoics believed that gratitude grounds us, helping us see the richness of life, even in its simplest moments. Imagine walking through a park, the sun warming your face, the sound of birds filling the air. Pausing to appreciate these small joys connects you to the present. Finally, the Stoics emphasize the importance of living with intention. Life is finite, and every moment matters. Marcus Aurelius urged us to live not as though there were 1,000 years ahead of you. Fate is at your elbow. Make yourself good while life and power are still yours. This is a call to action, to make each day count, to live authentically and purposefully. As you go about your day, carry these lessons with you. Accept life as it is, prepare for the unexpected, and cherish the people around you. Embrace challenges as opportunities to grow and find joy in the present moment. Live with intention, knowing that every choice you make shapes the life you're creating. This is the Stoic path, a journey of resilience, wisdom, and profound fulfillment. Imagine life as a flowing river, ever-changing, its waters moving relentlessly forward. The Stoics teach us to swim with its current, embracing each moment as it comes, rather than struggling against the inevitable flow. This is not a passive surrender, but an active alignment with the rhythm of existence, a harmony that brings both peace and strength. As we stand at the edge of our journey through Stoic wisdom, there's a deep truth that lingers. Our time is finite, and what we choose to do with it defines the legacy we leave behind. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." These words are a call to awaken, to engage fully with life rather than letting it slip by unnoticed. Think about how often we postpone joy, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions. Yet life is never static, and perfection is an illusion. The Stoics understood this and implored us to find meaning in the present, to make the most of the time we have. Imagine a painter who refuses to put brush to canvas until every color is perfect, every stroke pre-planned, the masterpiece never comes to life. Instead, the artist who dares to begin, who embraces imperfections and lets the process unfold, creates something extraordinary. Life, too, is a canvas, and we are its artists. Another profound aspect of Stoicism is the practice of humility. The world is vast, and our place within it is but a fleeting moment in the grand scheme of things. Yet, this realization is not meant to diminish us, but to free us. When we understand that we are part of a larger whole, we stop clinging to ego and begin to act with purpose and service. Seneca wrote, "You are a part of the universe. Be content with your role in it." This contentment allows us to focus on what truly matters, building connections, acting with integrity, and leaving the world a little better than we found it. Imagine a person who spends their life chasing recognition, consumed by the desire to leave a mark. Yet, in their pursuit, they miss the quiet opportunities to impact others in profound ways. A kind word, a helping hand, a moment of genuine connection. The Stoics remind us that legacy is not built on monuments or accolades, but on the lives we touch and the love we share. As we navigate life's challenges, we must remember the Stoic principle of amor fati, to love one's fate. It's a radical acceptance of all that happens, good or bad, as essential to our growth. Picture a potter at their wheel, working with the clay they have, not wishing for another material, but shaping what is present into something beautiful. So too, we can mold our experiences, even the painful ones, into sources of wisdom and resilience. The Stoics also leave us with a powerful reminder about the fleeting nature of time. Each day is a gift, a finite resource that deserves our full attention. "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one," wrote Marcus Aurelius. These words push us to action. It's not enough to ponder or plan. We must live out our values, embodying the principles we hold dear. Imagine waking each morning with the clarity of purpose, knowing that this day, this hour, this moment is yours to shape. There's a freedom in that realization, a sense of empowerment that comes from understanding that, while we can't control everything, we can choose how we respond, how we act, how we live. As we bring this reflection to a close, let us carry with us the core of Stoic wisdom, the strength to accept what we cannot change, the courage to act on what we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Let us approach life with a heart full of gratitude, a mind open to growth, and a spirit committed to living with purpose. Life is a fleeting, precious gift. Embrace it fully. Find beauty in its imperfections, joy in its struggles, and meaning in every moment. The journey is yours to walk, and with the guidance of Stoic principles, you can walk it with grace, resilience, and an unshakable sense of peace. This is the art of living. This is the legacy of Stoicism. Not alone in feeling that ache for connection, that longing to belong in a world that sometimes seems indifferent, the Stoics would remind us to turn inward, to seek a foundation within ourselves before looking outward. They believed in building resilience, not as a shield to isolate us, but as a tool to engage the world more meaningfully. Imagine walking through life with a calm confidence, knowing that the chaos around you cannot disrupt the peace within you. That is the gift Stoicism offers, a way to anchor yourself even as the tides of loneliness rise. In our search for connection, it's easy to lose ourselves in distractions or cling to relationships that don't nurture us. But what if we paused and asked, am I connecting for the right reasons? The Stoics teach us to evaluate our motives, to ensure our actions align with our values. They encourage us to be intentional about the bonds we form, valuing depth over breadth, authenticity over superficiality. It's not about how many people we know, but how well we understand and value the few who truly matter. Marcus Aurelius spoke of the importance of community, yet he also warned against depending on others for validation. True connection, he suggested, begins with self-knowledge. When you understand yourself, your strengths, your values, your aspirations, you naturally attract those who resonate with your essence. It's not about molding yourself to fit in, it's about standing firm in your authenticity and allowing the right connections to find you. Picture a quiet moment where you're alone, but not lonely. Maybe you're reading, reflecting, or simply breathing. In this space, you're not escaping the world, but preparing to engage with it more fully. That's what the Stoics practiced, finding solitude to strengthen their sense of self so they could return to society with clarity and purpose. They knew that loneliness often stems from a disconnection within, not just from others. By tending to their inner lives, they created a foundation for meaningful relationships. But let's be real, loneliness is not always a choice. Sometimes it's thrust upon us, an unwelcome guest that lingers. In those moments, Stoicism invites us to reframe the experience. Instead of viewing solitude as a void, what if we saw it as an opportunity? An opportunity to explore, to grow, to deepen our relationship with ourselves. Epictetus famously said, "We suffer not from events themselves, but from our thoughts about them." When loneliness feels unbearable, it's often because we're telling ourselves a story of rejection or inadequacy. Changing the narrative can transform the experience, and when you do step out into the world, armed with self-awareness and resilience, the connections you form will be richer, more fulfilling. You'll no longer seek companionship out of fear or need, but from a place of abundance. You'll recognize the value of mutual respect, shared growth, and genuine understanding. These are the relationships that endure, the ones that lift us rather than weigh us down. It's also worth remembering that not all connections are meant to last. The Stoics would tell us that everything in life is transient, relationships included. This isn't a reason to despair, but to appreciate what we have while we have it. When a bond fades, it's not necessarily a failure. It's part of the natural ebb and flow of life. Letting go with grace is as important as holding on with gratitude. In navigating loneliness, we also confront a deeper question. What does it mean to be truly connected? Is it the number of messages on our phones, the likes on our posts, or something more profound? The Stoics challenge us to seek substance over surface, to value the quiet assurance of a true friend over the fleeting attention of many. They remind us that a single genuine connection can outweigh 100 shallow ones. So, if you're feeling the weight of loneliness, know that it's not a permanent state. It's a call to action, a signal to turn inward, to build a life that resonates with your values and attracts those who share them. It's an opportunity to practice the Stoic virtues of courage, wisdom, and self-discipline, transforming solitude from a burden into a gift. Imagine walking through life, not desperately seeking connection, but radiating such authenticity that meaningful bonds naturally form around you. This is the power of Stoicism, not just to endure loneliness, but to transcend it, to turn it into a catalyst for a richer, more connected existence. The journey isn't easy, but it's worth it. Every step you take toward understanding yourself is a step toward a life filled with purpose, peace, and profound connection. As you continue this journey toward understanding yourself, you might encounter moments where the pull of external validation becomes almost irresistible. It's natural. We're wired to seek approval and to feel a sense of belonging. But the Stoics would caution against letting this desire define us. They believed that placing too much value on others' opinions is like handing over the reins of our happiness to forces beyond our control. Think about it. How often do we act not out of our own conviction, but to meet someone else's expectations? Maybe it's a subtle shift in how we speak, a choice we make to avoid conflict, or even a dream we put on hold to fit into someone else's narrative. Over time, these small compromises can erode our sense of self. The Stoics remind us to pause and ask, whose life am I really living? Marcus Aurelius, one of the most celebrated Stoic philosophers, grappled with this question daily. As an emperor, his every action was scrutinized, yet he constantly reminded himself that true worth is found within. "It never ceases to amaze me," he wrote, "that we all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This simple observation is a call to reclaim our power, to live authentically, guided by our inner compass rather than external applause. This isn't to say that we should reject others or isolate ourselves in the name of independence. On the contrary, the Stoics valued community and connection deeply. They understood that humans are inherently social beings, meant to support and uplift one another, but they also recognized that true connection stems from mutual respect and authenticity, not from bending ourselves into shapes we were never meant to take. Imagine standing in a crowded room, surrounded by people yet feeling completely at peace. You're not trying to impress anyone or hide parts of yourself. You're simply present, grounded in who you are. This sense of inner calm is what the Stoics strived for, a state where external circumstances, including the opinions of others, hold little sway over your internal equilibrium. But how do we achieve this? How do we build a fortress within ourselves that remains unshaken by the shifting winds of approval and criticism? The Stoics offer a roadmap, one that begins with self-reflection. They urge us to examine our motives and to question whether our actions align with our values. When faced with a decision, they ask us to consider, am I doing this because it's right or because it's expected? Am I staying true to myself, or am I performing for an audience? This practice of introspection can be uncomfortable at times. It forces us to confront truths we might prefer to ignore, like the ways we've compromised our integrity or prioritized fleeting validation over lasting fulfillment. But it's in this discomfort that growth begins. By facing these truths, we learn to let go of what no longer serves us and to embrace the freedom that comes with living authentically. Of course, this journey isn't without its challenges. There will be moments when the opinions of others sting more than we'd like to admit, when rejection feels personal and approval seems just out of reach. In these moments, the Stoics remind us to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, and our responses. We can't dictate how others perceive us, but we can choose how much weight we give their perceptions. Epictetus, a former slave who rose to become one of Stoicism's greatest teachers, had a way of cutting through the noise. "If someone speaks badly of you," he said, "don't defend yourself against their accusations. Instead reply, 'You obviously don't know me very well, because I am far worse than you think.'" This isn't a call to self-deprecation, but a reminder not to be overly concerned with others' judgments. It's about maintaining humility and perspective, recognizing that our worth isn't tied to someone else's opinion. At the same time, the Stoics encourage us to approach criticism with curiosity rather than defensiveness. Is there truth in what's being said? If so, how can we use it to grow? And if not, why should it trouble us? This mindset transforms criticism from a threat into an opportunity for reflection and improvement. Through this lens, even the harshest judgments lose their power. We begin to see them for what they are: fleeting opinions, shaped by others' perspectives and experiences, not by our inherent worth. And as we detach from the need for approval, we create space for something far more valuable: self-respect. Self-respect isn't about arrogance or self-importance. It's about recognizing your own value, independent of external validation. It's about standing firm in your principles, even when it's difficult, and treating yourself with the same kindness and dignity you extend to others. The Stoics believed that this inner strength was the foundation of a good life, a life lived with purpose, integrity, and peace. When you cultivate self-respect, you start to see relationships in a new light. You're no longer drawn to connections that drain or diminish you. Instead, you seek out those that uplift and inspire, that challenge you to grow while accepting you as you are. These are the bonds that endure, the ones that add richness and meaning to life. As you walk this path, remember that it's not about perfection. The Stoics didn't expect to be immune to human emotions or free from mistakes. They understood that growth is a process, one that requires patience and persistence. What matters is the commitment to keep moving forward, to keep striving for a life that reflects your values and your truth. So, if you find yourself weighed down by the opinions of others or disconnected from your own sense of purpose, take heart. You have the tools within you to break free, to build a life rooted in authenticity and self-respect. It won't happen overnight, but with each step you take, you'll feel the weight lift. And in its place, you'll discover a lightness, a joy, and a peace that no external force can take away. As you continue this exploration of self-awareness and inner strength, let's consider the ways in which we often give away our peace of mind without even realizing it. It happens when we allow external circumstances, the unpredictable actions of others, or the shifting tides of fortune to dictate our mood and perspective. The Stoics believed this was a choice, not an inevitability. They taught that true freedom comes from within, from mastering our own reactions to the world rather than trying to control the uncontrollable. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a vast, serene lake. When storms rage above, the surface may ripple and churn, but deep beneath, the water remains calm and undisturbed. The Stoics encourage us to cultivate this same depth of inner tranquility, to remain grounded even as life's storms threaten to disrupt our peace. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending not to feel them. Instead, it's about recognizing that emotions are like waves, temporary, passing phenomena that don't have to dictate the state of the entire lake. How often do we let minor inconveniences ruin our day? A harsh word from a stranger, a delay in traffic, or an unexpected setback can feel monumental in the moment. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This is not just a comforting platitude, it's a call to reclaim our agency. By shifting our focus inward and choosing how we respond, we can transform even the most challenging situations into opportunities for growth. One of the most practical ways to cultivate this mindset is through the Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, literally, the premeditation of evils. This isn't about pessimism or expecting the worst. It's about mentally preparing yourself for life's inevitable challenges so that when they arise, you're not caught off guard. Picture yourself rehearsing for a difficult conversation or imagining how you'd respond if plans fell apart. This exercise builds resilience, allowing you to face adversity with a calm, measured approach. Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, believed that much of our suffering comes not from the events themselves, but from our anticipation of them. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality, he observed. How true this is! How often do we create elaborate scenarios in our minds, only to find that reality is far less daunting than we feared? By confronting these imagined fears head-on, we strip them of their power and regain control over our thoughts. This mental fortitude extends to how we deal with setbacks and failures as well. It's easy to view failure as a reflection of our worth, a judgment on our abilities. But the Stoics saw it differently. To them, failure was simply feedback, an opportunity to learn, adapt, and try again. Epictetus put it plainly, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This perspective shifts the focus from the external event to our internal response, empowering us to grow from every experience, no matter how difficult. Think back to a time when something didn't go as planned. Maybe it was a missed opportunity, a relationship that ended, or a goal that seemed just out of reach. In the moment, it might have felt like a dead end, but looking back, can you see how that experience shaped you? How it taught you something valuable or opened doors you hadn't considered? This is the essence of Stoic resilience, not avoiding hardship, but using it as a stepping stone to greater strength and understanding. Of course, this isn't always easy. There will be moments when the weight of the world feels unbearable, when even the strongest resolve falters. In these times, the Stoics remind us of the power of perspective. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the vastness of the universe and the fleeting nature of human life. "What we do now echoes in eternity," he wrote, not to diminish the importance of our actions, but to remind us that our troubles are often smaller than they appear. This cosmic perspective can be profoundly liberating. When we zoom out and view our challenges against the backdrop of eternity, we realize that most of what troubles us is temporary and manageable. It doesn't mean our struggles aren't real or significant, but it places them in a context that helps us navigate them with greater clarity and composure. And then there's the matter of control, a concept central to Stoic philosophy. The dichotomy of control, as Epictetus described it, is the idea that some things are within our control and others are not. Our actions, choices, and attitudes fall into the first category. The opinions, actions, and outcomes shaped by others belong to the second. This distinction is crucial for maintaining inner peace. When we focus on what we can control and release attachment to what we cannot, we free ourselves from unnecessary frustration and anxiety. But how do we put this into practice? Start by identifying the areas in your life where you feel most stressed or overwhelmed. Ask yourself, is this something I can control? If not, how can I shift my focus to what I can influence? This simple exercise can be transformative, helping you let go of what's beyond your reach while directing your energy toward meaningful action. In relationships, this might mean accepting that you can't change how others feel or behave, only how you respond to them. In your career, it could mean focusing on the effort you put into a project rather than fixating on the outcome. And in your personal growth, it means recognizing that progress takes time and that setbacks are part of the journey. The Stoics were not immune to hardship or loss. They faced wars, exile, and personal tragedies. But their philosophy gave them a framework to endure these trials with grace and wisdom. It's a framework we can all adopt, one that empowers us to live with purpose and resilience no matter what life throws our way. So, as you move forward, remember this. You have within you the strength to face any challenge, the wisdom to learn from every experience, and the resilience to grow through adversity. These aren't just lofty ideals, they're practical tools you can use every day to build a life of meaning and peace. And as you cultivate this inner strength, you'll find that the storms of life lose their power, revealing the calm, steady waters beneath. As you navigate this path of cultivating inner strength and resilience, one of the most transformative aspects of Stoic philosophy emerges: the practice of gratitude. Gratitude, in the Stoic sense, is not merely an occasional act of saying thank you for the good things in life. It is a deep and enduring awareness of the value of existence itself, even in its challenges. The Stoics believed that by learning to appreciate what we have, rather than lamenting what we lack, we unlock a profound sense of contentment and peace. Think about your day-to-day life. How often do you pause to recognize the blessings you already have? The relationships, the opportunities, the small moments of beauty that surround you. It's so easy to overlook these things in pursuit of what's next. Another goal, another milestone, another source of validation. But the Stoics remind us that fulfillment is not found in chasing after what we don't have. It's found in appreciating what is already within our grasp. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." This simple yet profound insight invites us to stop and reflect on the present moment. What would it look like to live fully in the now, to savor the simple joys that often go unnoticed? The warmth of the sun on your face, the sound of laughter, the satisfaction of a task well done. These are the treasures of life, available to us if we only take the time to notice them. Gratitude also helps us reframe adversity. It's easy to feel grateful when life is going well, but the Stoics challenge us to find gratitude even in our struggles. Why? Because challenges are opportunities for growth. They test our resolve, sharpen our character, and teach us resilience. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that difficulties are not obstacles, but pathways to strength. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way, he wrote. Consider a time when you faced a significant challenge. Perhaps it was a setback at work, a conflict in a relationship, or a period of self-doubt. At the moment, it may have felt overwhelming, even insurmountable. But looking back, can you see how it shaped you, how it forced you to adapt, to learn, to grow? This is the gift hidden within adversity, a chance to become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Gratitude also has a way of shifting our focus from what we lack to what we can give. When we stop fixating on our own needs and desires, we open ourselves up to the needs of others. This is where connection truly deepens, not through taking, but through giving. The Stoics believed that we are all interconnected, part of a larger whole. They taught that by serving others, we fulfill our highest purpose and find lasting joy. Epictetus once said, "He who is not grateful for what he has would not be satisfied with what he wishes to have." This wisdom speaks to the insatiable nature of desire. When we focus solely on acquiring more, whether it's possessions, achievements, or approval, we enter an endless cycle of dissatisfaction. Gratitude breaks this cycle, grounding us in the abundance that already exists in our lives. But practicing gratitude is not always easy, especially in the face of loss. When we lose someone or something we care deeply about, gratitude can feel like the last thing on our minds. Yet the Stoics invite us to see loss in a different light. Instead of dwelling on what we no longer have, they encourage us to cherish the time we did have, to honor the memories, and to be thankful for the experiences that shaped us. This perspective is not about denying grief or pain. It's about integrating it into a broader understanding of life's impermanence. Marcus Aurelius often meditated on the fleeting nature of existence, not to evoke despair, but to inspire appreciation. "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to live," he wrote. "While you live, while it is in your power, be good." This reminder to live fully in the present, with gratitude and virtue, is one of the most enduring gifts of Stoic philosophy. Gratitude also helps us let go of comparisons. In a world saturated with social media and constant connectivity, it's easy to measure our worth against others. We see curated snapshots of other people's lives and wonder why we don't measure up. But the Stoics remind us that comparison is a thief of joy. True contentment comes from aligning our actions with our values, not from trying to outdo someone else. Seneca's advice on this is particularly powerful. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. In other words, wealth is not about how much you have, but about how much you value what you have. By shifting our focus from external measures of success to internal fulfillment, we free ourselves from the endless cycle of comparison and competition. Gratitude, when practiced consistently, becomes a way of being. It transforms how we see the world and our place in it. It allows us to face life's ups and downs with a sense of balance, knowing that even in hardship, there is something to be thankful for. It connects us to others, deepens our relationships, and fosters a sense of community. Most importantly, it aligns us with the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with nature, appreciating life for what it is, rather than lamenting what it is not. As you embrace this practice, start small. Each day, take a moment to reflect on one thing you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be grand or profound. Even the smallest joys are worth acknowledging. Over time, you'll find that gratitude becomes a natural part of your perspective, a lens through which you see the world with clarity and appreciation. In this way, gratitude is not just a feeling but a discipline, a conscious choice to focus on what matters most. And as you cultivate this discipline, you'll discover that the peace, contentment, and fulfillment you've been seeking were within you all along. The world around you may not change, but your relationship to it will, and that makes all the difference. As you delve deeper into this journey of self-awareness and intentional living, it's important to address one of the most powerful and often overlooked aspects of the Stoic mindset: the art of letting go. Life, in its unpredictable ebb and flow, is marked by constant change. People come and go, circumstances shift, and possessions fade. While these truths can sometimes be unsettling, the Stoics believed they held the key to our liberation, teaching us how to embrace impermanence with grace and equanimity. Consider the grip we often hold on the things and people we value. We cling tightly, fearful of loss, convinced that our happiness and identity are tied to their permanence. But the Stoics saw this attachment as a form of self-imposed bondage. They argued that true freedom lies in our ability to let go, not with indifference, but with wisdom and acceptance of life's natural order. Epictetus framed this beautifully when he said, "When something or someone you love is taken from you, do not think of it as being taken, but rather returned." This perspective reframes loss, reminding us that nothing truly belongs to us. Everything we have is on loan from the universe. Whether it's a cherished relationship, a prized possession, or even our own health, all things are transient. By accepting this reality, we free ourselves from the anguish of clinging to what cannot be kept. But letting go is not just about loss. It's also about releasing the weight of grudges, regrets, and unmet expectations. How often do we replay past mistakes in our minds, wishing we could rewrite them? Or hold on to resentment, allowing it to poison our present? The Stoics teach us that carrying these burdens serves no purpose. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Let go of your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." By choosing to forgive, not for others, but for our own peace of mind, we create space for healing and growth. Letting go also applies to our pursuit of control. We spend so much of our energy trying to shape outcomes, often forgetting that many aspects of life are beyond our influence. The Stoics embrace the dichotomy of control, the idea that while we can govern our actions, thoughts, and responses, we cannot dictate external events. When we release our need to control what lies outside our sphere of influence, we discover a profound sense of relief and clarity. Imagine being caught in a storm. You can't stop the rain, but you can choose how to respond. You can curse the skies and fight against the inevitable, or you can seek shelter and wait for the storm to pass. This is the essence of the Stoic approach, not resisting reality, but adapting to it with resilience and grace. Letting go doesn't mean detachment in the sense of apathy or disinterest. The Stoics were deeply engaged with life, finding joy and purpose in their relationships, work, and experiences. What they advocated was a healthy detachment, a recognition that while we can appreciate and cherish what we have, our sense of self should not be dependent on it. This mindset allows us to fully enjoy the present without fearing its end. Consider how this perspective might change the way you approach your relationships. Instead of clinging to someone out of fear of losing them, you can appreciate them for who they are and the time you share. Instead of trying to control their actions or feelings, you can focus on what you bring to the relationship: kindness, understanding, and authenticity. This shift not only strengthens your connection, but also frees you from the anxiety of unmet expectations. Letting go also means releasing the need for perfection, both in ourselves and in others. We often hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, berating ourselves for every misstep. The Stoics remind us that imperfection is part of the human experience. Seneca wrote, "We are all bound to slip. It is only by trying to remain upright that we prevent ourselves from falling entirely." This humility allows us to forgive ourselves, to see mistakes as opportunities for growth rather than as evidence of failure. In the same vein, letting go of perfection in others fosters compassion and patience. When we stop expecting people to meet our ideals, we can accept them as they are, flawed, complex, and beautifully human. This doesn't mean tolerating harmful behavior, but it does mean approaching relationships with understanding and grace. One of the most profound aspects of letting go is the freedom it brings. By releasing our attachments to outcomes, we open ourselves up to the flow of life. We become more adaptable, more resilient, and more at peace. This doesn't mean we stop striving or caring. It means we invest fully in our efforts without becoming fixated on the results. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Do not be despondent over what you cannot control. Act justly in the moment and let the rest take its course." Letting go is not an overnight process. It's a practice, one that requires patience and self-awareness. Start small. Notice where you're holding on too tightly, whether it's to a past hurt, a future worry, or an ideal that no longer serves you. Ask yourself, is this within my control? Does holding on to this bring me peace or pain? With time and reflection, in letting go, you'll discover a new kind of strength, not the brittle strength of resistance, but the flexible strength of acceptance. You'll move through life with greater ease, embracing its impermanence with open hands and an open heart. And in doing so, you'll create space for joy, connection, and growth, space to live fully in the present, unburdened by the past or the future. This is the gift of letting go. Not just freedom from attachment, but the freedom to be fully alive. To love deeply without clinging, to strive without desperation, and to face life's uncertainties with courage and grace. It's a practice that transforms not just how you live, but how you experience life itself. And as you embrace this practice, you'll find that each moment, no matter how fleeting, becomes a source of beauty and meaning. As you continue to embrace the practice of letting go and cultivating inner strength, another transformative principle of Stoicism comes into focus: the pursuit of purpose. Purpose is the guiding star that illuminates our path, giving meaning to our actions and anchoring us amid life's uncertainties. The Stoics believed that to live a fulfilling life, we must align ourselves with a higher purpose, one that transcends fleeting desires and temporary pleasures. But what does it mean to live with purpose? For the Stoics, purpose wasn't about grandiose achievements or the accumulation of wealth and fame. Instead, It was about living in accordance with virtue, striving to embody wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline in all that we do. They saw these virtues as the foundation of a meaningful life, guiding our choices and shaping our character. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of purpose in his meditations. As an emperor, he faced immense challenges and responsibilities, yet he remained steadfast in his commitment to living with integrity. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, "I have work to do as a human being," he wrote. This simple reminder reflects a profound truth. Our purpose lies in fulfilling our role as human beings, contributing to the world around us, and striving to be our best selves. Consider your own life. What gives it meaning? What values guide your decisions and actions? The answers to these questions form the foundation of your purpose. They serve as a compass, helping you navigate the complexities of life with clarity and intention. And while your purpose may evolve over time, its essence remains rooted in your core values, the principles that resonate deeply within you and inspire you to act. Living with purpose requires self-awareness. It asks us to look inward, to examine our motives, and to identify what truly matters to us. This process can be both enlightening and challenging, as it often reveals areas where our actions are misaligned with our values. But it's through this self-examination that we gain the clarity needed to course-correct and realign ourselves with our purpose. Imagine you're walking through a dense forest, unsure of the path ahead. Without a compass, you might wander aimlessly, feeling lost and uncertain. But with a clear sense of direction, every step becomes purposeful, bringing you closer to your destination. This is the power of living with purpose. It provides a sense of direction, turning even the most challenging journeys into opportunities for growth and discovery. Purpose also helps us navigate the inevitable setbacks and obstacles of life. When we encounter adversity, it's easy to feel discouraged or disheartened. But when we're grounded in a sense of purpose, we're better equipped to persevere. We see challenges not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones, pushing us to adapt and grow. The Stoics understood this well. They believed that hardship was not something to be avoided, but embraced as a necessary part of life. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." This perspective transforms our relationship with struggle, framing it as an opportunity to cultivate resilience and deepen our commitment to our purpose. Consider a time in your life when you faced a significant challenge. Perhaps it was a period of uncertainty, a personal loss, or a setback in your career. In the moment, it may have felt overwhelming, but looking back, can you see how that experience shaped you, how it tested your resolve and clarified your priorities? This is the gift of purpose. It gives meaning to our struggles, helping us endure and grow through them. Living with purpose also enriches our relationships. When we're clear about our values and intentions, we bring authenticity and integrity to our interactions with others. We're more likely to build connections based on mutual respect and shared principles, creating relationships that are not only meaningful but enduring. At the same time, purpose encourages us to look beyond ourselves. Epictetus emphasized this interconnectedness, reminding us that our purpose is not just about personal gain, but about making a positive impact on the world around us. "What is the fruit of these teachings?" he asked. "Only the most beautiful and proper harvest of the truly educated, tranquility, fearlessness, and freedom. We do not seek to avoid hardship, but to rise above it for the benefit of others." Purpose is also deeply tied to the concept of time, a theme the Stoics often reflected upon. They recognized that our time on earth is limited and that we must use it wisely. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." This is not a call to rush through life, but a reminder to live deliberately, to ensure that our days are spent in alignment with our purpose. Living with purpose doesn't mean having all the answers or never making mistakes. It's a journey, one that requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to learn. There will be moments of doubt and uncertainty, but these are opportunities to reassess and realign ourselves with what truly matters. If you're unsure of your purpose, start by reflecting on what brings you a sense of fulfillment and joy. What activities make you lose track of time? What values resonate deeply with you? What kind of impact do you want to have on the world? These questions can serve as a starting point, guiding you toward a life that feels both meaningful and authentic. Remember, your purpose doesn't have to be grand or earth-shattering. It's not about achieving perfection or changing the world overnight. It's about living in a way that reflects your values and contributes to the well-being of others, no matter how small the act. Even the simplest gestures, a kind word, a helping hand, a moment of patience, can carry profound meaning when done with intention. As you move forward, let your purpose be your anchor and your guide. Let it shape your actions, your decisions, and your relationships. And as you align yourself with this deeper sense of meaning, you'll find that life takes on a new richness, a sense of connection, fulfillment, and peace that no external circumstance can take away. This is the power of living with purpose, the quiet strength that comes from knowing you are walking your path with clarity and intention. As you journey further into a life guided by purpose and inner strength, another vital element of Stoic philosophy comes to light: the practice of self-discipline. The Stoics regarded self-discipline not as a restrictive force but as a liberating one, a tool that enables us to align our actions with our values, resist fleeting temptations, and focus on what truly matters. In their view, self-discipline is the bridge between intention and action, between who we are and who we strive to become. Imagine you're sculpting a statue from a block of marble. Each careful chisel, each deliberate motion reveals the figure hidden within. Self-discipline is much like this process. It's the steady, intentional effort to refine ourselves, to carve away what doesn't serve us, and bring forth the best version of who we are. It's not about perfection, but about progress, about committing to the work of self-improvement, one choice at a time. At its core, self-discipline is the ability to govern ourselves. It's the practice of choosing long-term growth over short-term gratification, of prioritizing what's meaningful over what's easy. This can take many forms: setting boundaries, cultivating healthy habits, staying focused on your goals, or responding thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. Each act of self-discipline strengthens the foundation of your character, enabling you to navigate life with greater clarity and purpose. The Stoics understood that mastering self-discipline begins with mastering the mind. Epictetus famously said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This mastery starts with self-awareness, recognizing our impulses, understanding our desires, and observing the thoughts that drive our actions. When we become aware of these internal forces, we gain the power to choose how we respond to them, rather than being ruled by them. Consider the small, everyday moments when self-discipline comes into play. Maybe it's resisting the urge to scroll endlessly through your phone when you have important work to do. Maybe it's choosing to speak kindly in a heated conversation rather than letting anger take over. Or perhaps it's as simple as getting out of bed on a cold morning to honor the commitments you've made to yourself. These moments, though seemingly insignificant, are the building blocks of character. Each time you choose discipline over indulgence, you reinforce your ability to act in alignment with your values. But self-discipline isn't about suppressing your desires or denying yourself joy. The Stoics didn't advocate for a life of austerity or deprivation. Instead, they encouraged moderation, a balance between enjoying life's pleasures and not being enslaved by them. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to want only those things which can be truly desired, and to avoid only those things which can be truly feared." This wisdom reminds us to focus on what genuinely contributes to our well-being, rather than chasing after superficial or fleeting pleasures. The Stoics also recognized the importance of habits in cultivating self-discipline. Habits are the routines and patterns that shape our days, and over time, they shape our lives. By intentionally cultivating habits that align with our values, we make self-discipline a natural part of who we are. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the power of habits, urging himself to waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This call to action emphasizes the importance of embodying our ideals through consistent, intentional behavior. Think about a habit you've been wanting to build, a small, meaningful change that aligns with your goals or values. Maybe it's practicing gratitude each morning, exercising regularly, or setting aside time for reflection. The key to making this habit stick is starting small and staying consistent. The Stoics believed that progress is made not through grand gestures, but through steady, incremental effort. Each day you practice your habit, you're strengthening your resolve and laying the groundwork for lasting change. Self-discipline also plays a crucial role in how we manage our emotions. The Stoics didn't advocate for suppressing emotions, but for understanding and regulating them. They saw emotions as natural responses to external events, shaped by our perceptions and beliefs. By examining these beliefs, we can change how we experience and respond to emotions, cultivating a sense of inner calm even in the face of adversity. Imagine you're faced with a situation that sparks frustration or anger. Perhaps someone has treated you unfairly, or a plan has gone awry. In moments like these, self-discipline is the ability to pause, take a breath, and choose your response thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom underscores the importance of focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, rather than being consumed by what we cannot. But self-discipline isn't only about restraint, it's also about action. It's the force that drives us to pursue our goals, even when the path is difficult or uncertain. Whether it's working toward a personal dream, contributing to a greater cause, or simply striving to be a better person, self-discipline keeps us moving forward. It reminds us that the journey is as important as the destination, and that every step we take brings us closer to becoming the person we want to be. Of course, the path of self-discipline is not without challenges. There will be moments of doubt, setbacks, and times when temptation feels overwhelming. The Stoics remind us to approach these moments with compassion and perseverance. Seneca wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." This encouragement to face challenges head-on reminds us that self-discipline is a skill, one that strengthens with practice. When you falter, and you will because you're human, the Stoics urge you to forgive yourself and begin again. Self-discipline is not about perfection, it's about persistence. Each moment offers a fresh opportunity to choose your values over your impulses, to act with intention rather than passivity. Over time, these choices become second nature, transforming self-discipline from a conscious effort into a way of being. As you cultivate self-discipline, you'll find that it brings a sense of freedom and empowerment. No longer ruled by fleeting desires or external circumstances, You'll move through life with a greater sense of control and purpose. You'll discover that the rewards of self-discipline far outweigh the comforts of indulgence, bringing you closer to a life of authenticity, fulfillment, and peace. This is the essence of self-discipline, not a rigid adherence to rules, but a dynamic practice of living in harmony with your values. It's the foundation of a life well lived, the steady force that carries you through challenges and toward your highest aspirations. And as you continue to refine this practice, you'll uncover a deep reservoir of strength within yourself, a strength that empowers you to face life's complexities with grace, resilience, and unwavering clarity. As you continue to strengthen your foundation of self-discipline and purpose, another profound Stoic principle emerges: the cultivation of resilience. Resilience, in the Stoic sense, is the ability to endure hardship and adversity with grace, to bounce back stronger and wiser from life's inevitable challenges. It's not about suppressing pain or denying struggle, but about facing them head-on, understanding their role in shaping us and using them as opportunities for growth. Life is unpredictable. We plan, we hope, we strive, yet circumstances often unfold in ways we couldn't anticipate. The Stoics understood this fundamental truth and sought to equip themselves with the tools to thrive amidst uncertainty. They believed that resilience wasn't just a skill, but a mindset, one rooted in the acceptance of life's impermanence and the understanding that we always have a choice in how we respond. Imagine yourself as a tree standing in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, rain lashes, and branches may break. But your roots are deep, anchoring you firmly to the earth. You bend, you sway, but you do not fall. This is resilience, a strength that is flexible yet unyielding, allowing you to weather the storms of life without losing your grounding. The Stoics often reflected on the power of perspective in cultivating resilience. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This insight is a reminder that much of our suffering comes not from external events, but from our interpretation of them. By reframing our perspective, we can change how we experience adversity, transforming obstacles into opportunities for growth. Consider a time when you faced a difficult situation. Maybe it was the loss of a job, the end of a relationship, or a personal failure. At the moment, it may have felt overwhelming, even insurmountable. But looking back, can you see how that experience helped you grow? How it taught you something about yourself, about resilience, about the strength you didn't know you had? This is the Stoic approach to hardship, not to avoid it, but to embrace it as a necessary part of the human experience. One of the most powerful tools for building resilience is the practice of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involves imagining potential challenges or setbacks and preparing yourself mentally and emotionally to face them. It's not about dwelling on negativity or inviting misfortune, but about strengthening your ability to respond with composure when difficulties arise. By visualizing these scenarios, you desensitize yourself to fear and develop a calm, proactive mindset. Seneca emphasized the value of this practice, stating, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." When you anticipate challenges, you're less likely to be caught off guard and more equipped to handle them with grace. This foresight doesn't eliminate hardship, but it does reduce its ability to overwhelm you, allowing you to act with clarity and purpose even in the midst of chaos. Resilience is also deeply tied to the Stoic concept of control. As Epictetus taught, there are things within our control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, and things outside of it, such as the behavior of others, the outcomes of events, and the passage of time. By focusing on what we can control and releasing attachment to what we cannot, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and build a foundation of inner strength. Imagine a sailor navigating rough seas. The sailor cannot control the wind or the waves, but they can adjust their sails, steer their course, and remain vigilant. In the same way, resilience is about adapting to life's challenges, finding your bearings even when the waters are turbulent. It's about trusting in your ability to navigate the unknown, knowing that every storm is an opportunity to learn and grow. The Stoics also saw resilience as a communal strength. While self-reliance is a cornerstone of their philosophy, they recognize that we are not meant to face life's challenges alone. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about the interconnectedness of humanity, emphasizing the importance of supporting and being supported by others. Resilience, then, is not just about individual fortitude, but about building a network of relationships that uplift and sustain us. When you face difficulties, don't hesitate to lean on those you trust. Sharing your struggles and seeking guidance doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. The Stoics believed that mutual support strengthens resilience, enabling us to endure more together than we could alone. In turn, offering support to others during their times of need deepens our own sense of purpose and connection. Resilience also involves embracing change, a constant in life. The Stoics often meditated on the impermanence of all things, not as a source of despair, but as a reminder to live fully and authentically. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." This perspective encourages us to see change not as a loss, but as a transition, an opportunity to grow and adapt. When we resist change, we create unnecessary suffering. But when we accept it with an open heart, we unlock our potential to evolve and thrive. This doesn't mean dismissing the pain of loss or the fear of the unknown. It means acknowledging those emotions while choosing to move forward with courage and hope. Resilience is the ability to hold space for both grief and growth, recognizing that they are not mutually exclusive. Finally, resilience is a practice. It's built through daily choices, small acts of courage, and a commitment to learning from every experience. There will be moments when resilience feels out of reach, when the weight of the world seems too heavy to bear. In those moments, remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Each challenge is an opportunity to strengthen your resolve and deepen your capacity for endurance. As you cultivate resilience, you'll discover a profound sense of empowerment. You'll learn to face life's uncertainties with grace, to adapt to its challenges with wisdom, and to emerge from its trials stronger and more self-assured. This is not a denial of life's difficulties, but a wholehearted embrace of its complexities, a recognition that every moment, both joyful and painful, shapes the person you are becoming. In this way, resilience is not just about survival, it's about thriving. It's about living with courage, authenticity, and an unshakable belief in your ability to navigate whatever comes your way. And as you build this resilience, you'll find that life's storms no longer have the power to unmoor you. Instead, they become a testament to your strength, a reminder that you are capable of enduring and growing through anything life may bring. As this journey through the wisdom of Stoicism reaches its culmination, it's time to embrace one of its most profound lessons, the art of finding meaning in every moment, no matter how ordinary or extraordinary it may seem. The Stoics believed that life's ultimate fulfillment comes not from external achievements or possessions, but from how we choose to live moment by moment in alignment with our values and purpose. Imagine waking each day with the mindset that every experience, whether joyous or painful, is a gift, an opportunity to practice virtue and deepen your understanding of life. This perspective transforms even the most mundane activities into acts of meaning and intention. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This simple act of gratitude sets the tone for a life lived fully and authentically. But how do we bring this mindset into our daily lives, especially when faced with challenges, distractions, or uncertainties? The Stoics teach us to focus on the present, to engage fully with the here and now, rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Do every act of your life as if it were your last, Marcus Aurelius urged. This is not a call to live recklessly, but a reminder to approach each moment with intention and integrity, knowing that our time is finite. Living in the present doesn't mean ignoring the lessons of the past or neglecting to plan for the future. Instead, it's about recognizing that the only moment we truly have is now. The Stoics often reflected on the fleeting nature of time, not to evoke fear, but to inspire urgency in making the most of every opportunity. Seneca wrote, "Life is long if you know how to use it." By focusing on what we can do today, how we can act with virtue, kindness, and purpose, we honor the time we've been given. This mindset also extends to how we view challenges and setbacks. The Stoics believed that every difficulty contains the seed of growth, that adversity is not an obstacle but a path to greater strength and understanding. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "The obstacle in the path becomes the path." This powerful shift in perspective allows us to see struggles as opportunities to practice resilience, patience, and courage. Consider how this approach might change the way you navigate your own challenges. Instead of resisting or resenting hardship, what if you welcomed it as a teacher? What if you asked, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow?" This doesn't diminish the reality of pain or loss, but it reframes them as integral parts of the human experience, parts that shape us, strengthen us, and prepare us for what lies ahead. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the idea that we are always in control of one thing, our perspective. While we cannot dictate the events of life, we can choose how we interpret and respond to them. This choice is the foundation of freedom, allowing us to live with peace and purpose regardless of external circumstances. Epictetus wrote, "It is not things themselves that disturb us, but the judgments we make about them." By examining and reshaping our judgments, we reclaim our power to create a life of meaning. This power of perspective extends to our relationships with others. The Stoics believed that every interaction is an opportunity to practice kindness, understanding, and forgiveness. They recognized that while we cannot control how others behave, we can control how we respond. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, 'The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they cannot distinguish good from evil.'" This acknowledgement of human imperfection doesn't excuse bad behavior, but helps us approach it with compassion and patience. Imagine the freedom that comes from letting go of the need to change others or to seek their approval. Instead, you focus on embodying the values you hold dear, allowing your actions to speak louder than your words. This shift not only strengthens your character, but also inspires those around you to rise to their best selves. And then there is the question of legacy, not in the sense of fame or monuments, but in the impact you leave on the lives you touch. The Stoics remind us that our influence is not measured by how we are remembered, but by the good we do in the present. It's the kindness we extend, the integrity we uphold, and the love we share that define the mark we leave on the world. Seneca captured this beautifully. The greatest blessings of mankind are within us and within our reach. This wisdom calls us to look inward, to cultivate the virtues that bring true fulfillment, and to share them freely with others. It's a reminder that the most meaningful contributions often come in the simplest acts: a listening ear, a helping hand, a moment of encouragement. As you reflect on this journey, consider how you can bring the principles of Stoicism into your own life. How can you cultivate gratitude, resilience, and self-discipline? How can you align your actions with your values, even in the face of adversity? And how can you find meaning in the everyday moments that make up the fabric of your existence? The answers to these questions won't come all at once, nor will they remain static. They will evolve as you grow, as you encounter new experiences and challenges. What matters is not achieving perfection, but committing to the practice, to the daily effort of living with purpose, integrity, and a deep appreciation for life's impermanence. In the end, the Stoics remind us that the most profound truths are often the simplest. Life is fleeting, challenges are opportunities, and we have the power to shape our experience through the choices we make. By embracing these truths, we open ourselves to a life of meaning, a life that is not just lived, but fully experienced. So as you move forward, carry these lessons with you. Let them guide you in moments of doubt, anchor you in times of uncertainty, and inspire you to live each day with courage and clarity. And as you embrace the wisdom of Stoicism, you'll find that the life you create is not only one of purpose and fulfillment, but one of quiet strength and enduring peace. This is the gift of the Stoic path, a way of living that transforms not just how you navigate the world, but how you experience it in its fullest, richest form, especially in the face of life's unpredictable nature. His words remind us to cultivate gratitude for the present moment and to find strength in our ability to persevere through challenges, no matter how daunting they may seem. This is not just about enduring, but about thriving, finding joy and purpose in the process, even when the outcome is uncertain. Life has a way of throwing unexpected obstacles in our path, and it's easy to become fixated on what we lack or what has been lost. But Marcus Aurelius invites us to shift our focus to the abundance that remains, to the simple joys that are often overlooked in our pursuit of more. Whether it's the warmth of the sun, the laughter of a loved one, or the quiet satisfaction of a job well done, these moments are treasures to be cherished, not taken for granted. Gratitude isn't just a fleeting feeling, it's a practice, a deliberate choice to acknowledge the good in our lives, no matter how small. It's the antidote to the endless cycle of longing and dissatisfaction that so often consumes us. By focusing on what we have rather than what we lack, we ground ourselves in the present and create a foundation of contentment. Gratitude isn't just a fleeting feeling, it's a practice, a deliberate choice to acknowledge the good in our lives, no matter how small. It's the antidote to the endless cycle of longing and dissatisfaction that so often consumes us. By focusing on what we have rather than what we lack, we ground ourselves in the present and create a foundation of contentment that no external circumstance can shake. This mindset also fuels perseverance. When we approach life with gratitude and determination, we build resilience, enabling us to face adversity with courage and grace. The Stoics understood that setbacks and failures are inevitable, but they are not the end of the story. They are chapters in the ongoing narrative of growth and self-discovery. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way, Marcus Aurelius reminds us. Each obstacle is an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow stronger. Consider the power of small, consistent efforts. Progress often feels slow, and the path forward can be riddled with uncertainty. But as Marcus Aurelius taught, it's not about achieving perfection. It's about showing up, doing the work, and trusting the process. Each step, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goals and strengthens your character along the way. Imagine a runner on a long journey. The finish line may seem far away, but with every stride, they build endurance and resilience. The journey itself becomes a source of strength, shaping them into someone capable of enduring and overcoming. This is the essence of perseverance, not just enduring hardship, but finding purpose and meaning in the effort. And when the path feels especially difficult, when doubts creep in, remember to lean on the support of others. The Stoics valued community and believed that we are strongest when we face life's challenges together. Sharing your struggles, seeking guidance, and offering support in return are acts of courage and connection that remind you that you are never truly alone. Perseverance also requires self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on ourselves when we stumble or fall short of our expectations. But the Stoics remind us that failure is not a reflection of our worth. It's a natural part of the human experience. Each mistake is an opportunity to learn and grow, to refine our approach and try again. By treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would offer a friend, we build the strength to keep going, even when the road is tough. And finally, let's not forget the importance of hope. While the Stoics emphasized acceptance of life's uncertainties, they also believed in the power of hope to inspire and sustain us. Hope is not a passive wish for things to improve, but an active belief in our ability to shape the future through our actions and choices. It's the light that guides us forward, reminding us that even in the darkest moments, there is the possibility of renewal and growth. So, as you move through life, carry these lessons with you. Let gratitude anchor you in the present, perseverance drive you forward, and hope illuminate your path. Remember that every challenge is an opportunity to become stronger, every setback a chance to learn, and every moment a gift to be cherished. Life is not a straight line. It's a winding journey filled with peaks and valleys, triumphs and trials. But through it all, the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius reminds us to stay true to our values, to embrace the process, and to find meaning in every step. In doing so, we create a life that is not only resilient and purposeful, but also deeply fulfilling. A life that reflects the timeless strength and beauty of the human spirit. When you think about the ways we engage with life, it's easy to get swept up in the rush of responsibilities, goals, and distractions. But there's a powerful simplicity in the Stoic approach that teaches us to slow down, breathe, and find meaning in the quiet moments. Imagine walking through your day with a sense of calm, an unshakable understanding that no matter what happens, you can find peace within yourself. This isn't just a comforting thought, it's a way of life, a philosophy grounded in the wisdom of the ancients, yet perfectly suited for the complexities of modern living. One of the core tenets of Stoicism is the idea of controlling what you can and releasing what you cannot. It's a deceptively simple concept, yet it holds the power to transform the way you live. Consider how much of your mental energy is spent worrying about things outside your control, the opinions of others, the outcome of a project, the twists and turns of the economy or the weather. These are things you cannot dictate, no matter how much effort or anxiety you pour into them. Now imagine the freedom that comes with letting go of those worries. Picture yourself standing in a storm, not resisting it, not wishing it away, but simply acknowledging its presence and finding shelter. The storm doesn't cease to exist, but its power over you diminishes because you've chosen to focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your responses. This mindset isn't about apathy or indifference, it's about clarity. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you free up your energy for what truly matters. You can pour your efforts into your work, nurture your relationships, and grow as a person, all without the weight of unnecessary burdens. Epictetus said it best. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Those words are a reminder that your perspective, your ability to choose your reaction, is your greatest strength. Think about the last time you faced a challenge. Maybe it was a disagreement with a loved one, a missed opportunity, or a day when everything seemed to go wrong. In that moment, did you focus on what you couldn't change, or did you look for a way forward? The Stoics would advise you to take a step back, observe the situation with calm detachment, and ask yourself, what is within my power here? What action can I take that aligns with my values? This practice of stepping back and reflecting doesn't come naturally at first. It requires mindfulness, a deliberate effort to pause and consider your options before reacting. But over time it becomes second nature. You'll find yourself navigating life with greater ease, making choices that reflect your true priorities instead of being swept away by impulse or frustration. The Stoics also taught that true contentment comes from within, not from external achievements or possessions. This is a lesson that feels especially relevant in a world that often equates success with material wealth or social status. Marcus Aurelius, a man who held immense power as a Roman emperor, reminded himself daily that none of these external markers of success could bring lasting happiness. He wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Take a moment to reflect on this idea. What are the things you believe you need to be happy? Is it a promotion, a new car, a certain number of likes on social media? While there's nothing wrong with striving for these things, it's important to recognize that they are not the source of true fulfillment. Happiness, the Stoics teach, is found in living in harmony with your values, in finding meaning and purpose in your actions. Imagine waking up each day with the intention to live according to your principles. Instead of chasing fleeting pleasures or external validation, you focus on what truly matters: kindness, honesty, perseverance, and growth. This isn't about living a life of deprivation or denying yourself joy. It's about finding joy in the things that align with your deeper self. It's about creating a life that feels meaningful, not because of what you have, but because of how you choose to live. This philosophy extends to how we approach relationships as well. The Stoics believed in the importance of connection and community, but they also understood that we cannot control how others behave, only how we respond. When someone disappoints you or acts unkindly, it's easy to take it personally, to feel hurt or angry. But the Stoics would remind you that their actions are a reflection of them, not of you. By focusing on your own behavior, on acting with integrity and understanding, you free yourself from the emotional toll of others' actions. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How often have you replayed a negative interaction in your mind, imagining all the things you wish you'd said or done differently? These thoughts, while natural, only add to your suffering. Instead of dwelling on what's already past, the Stoics encourage us to learn from the experience, make amends if needed, and then let it go. Holding on to anger or regret serves no purpose. It only weighs you down. This practice of letting go isn't limited to interpersonal conflicts. It applies to every aspect of life, from missed opportunities to unforeseen setbacks. The Stoics understood that life is unpredictable, that things will not always go as planned. But instead of resisting this truth, they embraced it. Amor fati, they said, love of fate. This doesn't mean passively accepting everything that happens. It means finding value and meaning in every experience, even the difficult ones. Picture yourself at the end of a long day, reflecting on everything that's happened, the good, the bad, the unexpected. Instead of labeling events as successes or failures, you see them for what they are, opportunities to learn and grow. You take pride in the way you handled challenges, in the small acts of kindness you offered, in the effort you put forth. This is the essence of Stoicism, not a life free from hardship, but a life rich with purpose, resilience, and peace.